The evening light was fading, casting long shadows across the quiet street. For John, a mechanic whose hands knew the language of grease and steel better than any book, this was the peaceful end to another long day. He was just packing up his tools outside his small, humble home. The air filled with the scent of cut grass and distant barbecue smoke. Then, he saw it. A truck, stalled at the side of the road, its hazard lights blinking a silent plea for help. A man stood beside it, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Without a second thought, John wiped his hands on a rag and walked over. He didn't ask questions, he just offered a quiet nod and peered under the hood. The engine was a mess, a puzzle he'd solved 1,000 times before. He went back to his garage, grabbed his worn-out toolbox, and got to work. His hands moved with a familiar, practiced grace, tightening a loose belt here, reconnecting a stray wire there. In less than an hour, the engine purred back to life. The stranger, his face etched with relief, pulled out his wallet, insisting on paying. John simply shook his head, a gentle smile on his face. "Just get home safe," he said. The words carrying the weight of simple, honest-to-goodness kindness. He watched the truck's taillights disappear down the road and went back inside, thinking nothing more of it. The night was quiet, just like any other. But the next morning was different. The sun had barely risen, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The usual chorus of birdsong was suddenly shattered by the deep guttural roar of powerful engines. John looked out his window. 3 sleek black SUVs had pulled up, forming a silent, intimidating semicircle around his house. Neighbors peeked from behind their curtains, their morning routines forgotten. His heart pounded in his chest. What was happening? He slowly opened his front door and stepped outside, hands slightly raised, a question mark on his face. The doors of the SUVs opened in perfect unison. Men in sharp, dark suits emerged, their faces unreadable. They moved with a purpose that felt both professional and threatening. One of them, standing in the center, removed his sunglasses, and John's breath caught in his throat. It was him, the stranger from last night. But this wasn't just a man whose truck had broken down. The way he stood, the way the others deferred to him. He was clearly someone of immense importance. The man walked forward, the tension in the air so thick you could feel it. He stopped a few feet from John, and a genuine warm smile broke across his face. "You helped someone you didn't know," he said, his voice calm and steady. "I needed to thank you properly." John stood there, completely stunned. It turned out he had, by sheer chance, helped a high-ranking official, a man whose life was a world away from his own quiet existence. They weren't there to cause trouble. They were there to repay a debt. They offered him not just money, but a life-changing opportunity, a chance to secure his family's future, a promise of help whenever he might need it. As the SUVs drove away, leaving the neighborhood in a state of silent shock, John remained on his porch. He was the same man, the same mechanic, but everything had changed. He looked at his hands, the hands that had fixed a stranger's truck, and understood. Kindness isn't just an act, it's an echo, and it always finds its way back. Thanks for watching. Remember to be kind, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that move you.